habang nasa usapin tayo ng pera, taliwas po sa sinasabi ng iba, ni minsan po, hindi po ako authorized, hindi ako humahawak ng pera. Sinasagot ko lang po ito dahil sa mga pagdinig, no, na nababanggit po ang ating pangalan. Never po ako nag-handle ng budget of finance matters, kahit nung mayor pa po si Pangulong Duterte. Taliwas din po sa sinasabi ng iba. And in fact, maraming nadadamay. Si Muking, who is not employed in the Senate, was personnel in the office of the President noon, at tulad ko, scheduling, administrative work, mga clerical work, I'm sure lahat kayo nagpapa-appointment po sa amin through Muking noong unang panahon. Sobrang busy po yon. Marami pong opisyal na lumalapit sa amin at even during the time of the pandemic, no, kailangan ng tulong at hindi po namin tinatanggihan yan. Sa abot ng aming makakaya ay pinapansin po namin lahat ng hinaing. Nais ko rin klaruhin ang naging trabaho o role ko po sa administrasyon ni dating Pangulong Duterte. I was appointed and faithfully served as Special Assistant to the President or SAP from 2016 to 2018 as per Section 2 of Executive Order 2016-01. As SAP, I exercise mere oversight functions of 3 independent and cross-functional offices, of which are OSAP, Office of the Appointment Secretary, and Presidential Management Staff. As stated in the Executive Order creating OSAP, our functions were limited to scheduling, appointments, and presidential engagements. Our mandate did not include sensitive matters like police operations. Walang kinalaman po ang aking opisina o sino mang staff nito noon sa operasyon at organisasyon sa government security sector, mapamilitary o kapulisan, whether directly or indirectly, we had no participation in these operations. In 2018, I left the executive branch when I resigned in order to run for and eventually be elected as senator in 2019 as a legislator and chairman of the Committee on Health during the time of COVID-19 pandemic. I supported and coordinated closely with the executive branch to be able to formulate policies and legislation that would improve our response to the pandemic. We passed Republic Act 11469 or the Bayanihan to Heal as one law, Republic Act 11494 or the Bayanihan to Recover as one law, and Republic Act 11712 or the Public Health Emergency Benefits and Allowances for Healthcare Workers Act, among others. Beyond my mandate as a senator, nangako po ako kay Pangulong Duterte na hindi ko po siya iwanan at lalay pa rin po ako sa kanya sa pangangailangan niya po in my own personal capacity. Kaya lang po, sinasamahan ko siya at kadalasan po ay sa personal ko po itong kapasidad at lalong-lalo na po sa kanyang mga pangangailangan medikal, lalo na po na tumatanda na siya, kakaedad na po si Pangulong Duterte at pangako ko sa kanya noon at hanggang ngayon ay hindi ko po siya pababayaan. I am one of the most accommodating persons. Alam niyo po yan. Bukas po ang aking opisina, kahit alas 12 ng gabi, pwede kayo tumawag sa akin. Karamihan po sa inyo, maging mga kasamahan natin sa lower house, ako po ang nakasanayang tawagan kung may gusto po silang iparating kay Pangulong Duterte, kahit senador na po ako. Invitation sa birthday, at lahat ng mga reklamo, pinapakinggan ko po yan. Siyempre, hindi ko naman alam ang lahat ng sagot sa mga reklamo. Kahit si former President Duterte, hindi niya rin po lahat alam sa lahat sa dami po ng kanyang ginagawa. Kaya naman, kung may mga gustong magpa-verify ng mga information, maraming reklamo, scammers, manloloko, extortionists, we refer it to CIDG, NBI. Doon tayo tumatawag para malaman ng information. Ito siguro ang tinutukoy ng mga ilang opisyal, no? Including Police Colonel Leonardo, na sisikapin nating sisiyatin, no? Dahil sa amin talaga lumalapit at humihingi ng tulong. Kahit nung nasa Office of the President pa ako, kapag may concerns or reports that are confidential in nature, pinapasa ko po yan sa kinauukulang ahensya. All reports na directed kay President Duterte, siya lang po ang pwedeng magbasa, classified information, or documents ang tawag dyan. Ngayon, nandito po tayo para malaman kung may naging pang-aabuso ba sa hanay ng kapulisan at nagamit ba ito sa pansariling interest. With this information, we can then craft the necessary legislation to better serve our countrymen. as chairman of the Committee on Health and Demography and vice chairperson of the Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs, we want to find ways to improve our continuing fight against illegal drugs through the creation of meaningful policies. As we know, the drug menace is also a health issue. Drug dependents should be treated as victims in dire need of medical, psychological, and spiritual health, with a chance of being successfully reintegrated into society as healthy and productive citizens. Para itong sakit sa lipunan na ayaw nating kumalat. Kagaya ng kahit anumang sakit, importante po dito ang prevention at early detection. Maghanap po tayo ng paraan para hindi lumala at hindi malulong ang ating mga kababayan dito. Tulungan nating gumaling at magbagong buhay ang mga nalulong sa droga. The past administration had shown equal concern for the rehabilitation and reintegration of drug dependents by directing executive branch of the government to support the establishment of drug abuse treatment and rehabilitation centers. Meron po mga rehabilitation centers na ipinatayo, umpisa pa lang po ng administrasyon ni dating Pangulong Duterte. Kasama na po dyan ang sa Bukidnon, malaking tulong po si Senator Mig Subiri dyan, Nueva Ecija, and Las Piñas. Kaya lang po, sa kalagitnaan, hindi na po nagamit itong mga rehabilitation centers sa Nueva Ecija. Kalahati lang po ang na-occupy. Ang war on drugs ay dapat whole of government, whole of nation approach, kaya may rehabilitation at reintegration. In fact, former President Duterte issued Executive Order Number 4 creating an interagency task force for the establishment and support of drug abuse treatment and rehabilitation centers. We saw the biggest voluntary surrender of more than 1 million drug users and personalities, which is a feat that has never been seen in the country's history. Ang dami pong sumurrender nun kay then Chief PNP. 1.6 million po ang sumurrender. First 6 months po ito. Kulang na kulang nga po yung mga lugar, no, kung saan sila magsusurrender. Nagkulang po ang mga preso dahil sa dami po ng nagsurrender. Nagsurrender po sila dahil sa paniniwala nila na seryoso po ang war against drugs ni Pangulong Duterte. Bilang mambabatas, trabaho natin na suriin ang mga pulisiya laban sa droga noon at ngayon at makagawa ng mga bagong batas na kinakailangan upang maisulong ang drug abuse prevention, mapagtibay ang law enforcement, masagip ang mga nabibiktima upang magbagong buhay at mapalakas ang rehabilitation efforts. Bigyan po natin sila ng pagkakataon na magbagong buhay po. For my part, as early as 2019, I already filed a bill, Senate Bill 428, which would establish drug abuse treatment and rehabilitation centers in every province. I also filed Senate Bill 2115 to have vocational and livelihood programs for rehabilitated drug dependents. Bilang chairman po ng Committee on Health, Sports, and Youth, naniniwala po ko na isang health concern po na maaring matugunan sa pamamagitan ng maayos na rehabilitation at maging sa pag-promote sa sports. Hanggang ngayon po, sa kakaikot ko po sa buong Pilipinas, isa rin po ako sa author at co-sponsor ng National Academy of Sports. Iniinganyo ko talaga mga kabataan to get into sports, stay away from drugs, to keep us healthy and fit. This approach is also in line with the thrust of this administration that attention must be also directed towards the rehabilitation and recovery of victims. Apart from the accessibility of facilities, ito po'y napaka-importante. Sana po'y magtulungan tayo dito. We also have to look into the process to be admitted to these centers. Currently, a commitment order from the court is required to be admitted to rehab centers. Marami pong mga drug user ang gustong magpa-rehab, pero napakahaba po ng proseso. Kaya kadalasan, naisip nila na wag na lang magpa-rehab. Ang resulta, try to heal on their own. Walang intervention, bahala na. Kailangan nating ayusin ito dahil time is of the essence sa mga gustong magbagong buhay. We also have to look into mandatory counseling for victims and empower DSWD to help victims of these societal ill. As chairman of the Senate Committee on Youth, I also suggest crafting laws that would include in the school curriculum the knowledge and information necessary to prevent vices such as illegal drugs. We, as legislators, must work together to prevent abuse of power and protect and respect and uphold human rights. I have consistently worked to increase the budget for the operations of the Philippine National Police and the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Our efforts must be geared towards fulfilling their mandate in accordance with the law. Gamitin natin po ang investigasyong ito at hearing na ito upang siguraduhin walang pang-abusong mangyayari tungo sa ating isang hangarin na labanan po ang droga. I urge both houses of Congress, magtulungan po tayo dito. Kilala niyo po ako. I am committed to developing accessible rehabilitation centers for individuals facing drug addiction, and I am more so dedicated to ensuring the protection of and respect for human rights. Again, I am one with this committee in finding out the truth in the hopes that we could craft meaningful legislation for our beloved citizens.